What's up, guys? I'm Wes, you're watching Piece Parts, and on this episode of Project Cinnamon, we start banging on some shit. So I have some exciting news. I scored a bunch of new parts. So there was a guy pretty close to me that had a whole bunch of Miatas parts set up. He had 2 or 3 Miatas just pulled apart in his garage, and I was able to score a front bumper, a rear bumper cover, a driver's side front fender, 2 rear bumper supports, one with all the bracketry, one without, another rear bumper cover there on the car, and an entire wiring harness in that box over there, and then an entire front subframe with all the stuff that I already replaced, but that's okay. So I got that. It's got a power steering rack. It's got decent looking brakes on it. All of the pickup points on the subframe are way better than mine. The tabs for where the suspension arms mount is way straighter than mine, so yeah, so we'll be able to swap this out. I also got a couple new marker lights in the cab of the truck there still, and I also got this giant Ziploc bag full of just random OEM bolts, which is always nice to have, so that's super cool. Also got another center console, so this is the one that was in the car, and this is another one that I got. Don't really need another center console, but he threw it in as well, so that's always cool. And got some new AC lines because the ones that were on Cinnamon were already broke. So it was broke right here. This little spot right here was broke off. So if I ever wanted to put AC back in, I have lines that would work up for it. The condenser was still okay, so I'll be able to use that. This was the fender that was on Cinnamon. I don't think I've ever showed this on here before, but so it's pretty crunched up. And then the daisies that were on it, you can see there's a big old chunk missing out of that one there, and the bottom one isn't as bad, but they're both pretty screwed up, so that's why I went ahead and put my other wheels on it. So we were able to get quite a bit of this here pulled out. Let me get this down here, and we got quite a good start on that. So a lot of this is pulled out of the way. Pull this out of here. So looking inside here, you can see that this quarter panel out here, this outside skin, this was actually very close to touching the actual frame rail right here, and you can see there's considerable amount of room there now. It's pretty close to factory, kind of hard to see on this side because it's quite a different setup, but it's pretty close to where it should be, but obviously it's not great. So you can see that the panel is kind of separated there. This top section up here, I made a relief cut in there, thinking that that might give me some better leverage or might make it move a little bit easier. And in hindsight, I probably really didn't need to do that. I probably could have left it, but as you can see down here, it split from where the two seams match up anyway. So that's not a big deal. What I'll probably end up doing is kind of pulling it back together a little bit, or kind of getting it as close as I can, and then just kind of putting some new sheet metal in there, whether I'm going to try to weld it in, rivet it in, and seal it, or however, but probably somehow seal that up some way. And then the next thing I've been kind of working on is the tail light hole right here. You can see it's still kind of mangled up, so it's too short this way. I need to try to expand it up a little bit this way. I was kind of working on that and kind of gave up the other night. So what I might end up doing is really just trimming out more of this around here, and then fitting the tail light in there and just kind of bolting it wherever it'll fit, and then try to figure out how it'll seal from there. But otherwise, I got everything set up pretty well. The trunk latch actually works now, so that's pretty cool. The seam actually on the top of the trunk line here is really pretty good for how smashed up it is. So yeah. So I'm probably going to keep working on this a little bit more, and then what I'm going to end up doing is probably just kind of sanding most of this paint off, or chipping a lot of it off. You can see a lot of it's kind of chipped off already right here from banging on it and pushing on it and stuff. I'll probably get most of the paint off, and then just kind of spray paint over it just some red or whatever, and try to get it so it's not going to be all exposed metal and get all rusty and stuff. So so it won't look like the trunk here is. So that's what we'll plan on doing there. Okay, so kind of give you guys an idea of how I was able to get some of this out of the, some of this dent pulled out. What I ended up doing is I took a couple wood blocks. This is one of them that I was using, and you can see all the holes here in the frame rail. I just used some big old deck screws and screwed the block into the frame rail portion right here, and then I took a scissor jack or my bottle jack here and used the block here as leverage, like behind it. So it was, I had to wire it out of the way. So I had it set up kind of like this, and then I just jacked on the bottle jack to kind of push out at different points, and I kind of did it pretty progressively, kind of just moved all around and kind of worked my way around. It took quite a while. I mean, it took probably half a day or so to get to where we are now from what it was, but it's definitely a lot better than what it was. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's almost about to where I want it to be, honestly. I don't really need it to be too much more. Like I said, I'm just going to kind of work on this taillight area and try to get that a little bit better, so that we could hopefully fit a taillight in there and use that and everything. So that's what we'll be doing next, and then after that, I might try to throw on some of these parts here and just kind of see what she looks like with all of it. So alright guys, so we didn't get a whole lot really accomplished in this episode, but we did get some really big things done. We got this quarter panel pushed out quite a ways, and definitely a really good start. So next episode we're probably going to work on this a little bit more, maybe try to get a little bit more refined and sand it down or something, and then maybe work on some more body panels, try to fit this taillight in there, and then maybe work on some wiring with this taillight. So stay tuned for next episode, and thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and peace out.